The wise prepare before the storm is seen. In times of peace, they ready for chaos. Just as the general secures victory before stepping onto the battlefield, so too must you master the art of daily planning before the world descends into disorder. Observe the shifting terrain, grocery shelves empty, prices climb like a siege tower breaching the gate. The enemy is not distant. It is time, inflation, scarcity, and your own inaction. In this video, I shall teach you the strategies of the ancients, tactics not for war, but for life itself. I will reveal the principles of strategic planning drawn from my scrolls, applied to your home, your food supply, and your daily decisions. Because the greatest victory is not won in battle. It is secured through foresight. And remember this, even the strongest fortress falls without vigilance. Subscribe to our channel now and join the legion of those who do not fear the chaos. Because they are already prepared for it, the warrior who anticipates survives. The shopper who stockpiles prevails. Now let us begin the lesson. The ancient scrolls speak of knowing oneself before knowing the enemy. But in your modern world, who truly is the enemy? Look around you. The shadows you face are not armies with banners, but the silent specters of unpreparedness, dependency, and ignorance. In my time, I taught generals to assess their armies before battle. Today I shall teach you to assess the armies that defend your daily life, your resources, your capabilities, your vulnerabilities. Take a moment, close your eyes, envision your household as a fortress. What supplies sustain you? How many days could you maintain your position if the supply lines were cut? These are not idle questions, but the foundation of survival. The unprepared man is his own greatest enemy. He walks blindly through life, assuming the markets will always be full, the power will always flow, the water will always run. Such assumptions are the seeds of defeat. Begin your journey to mastery with 3 fundamental assessments. First, examine your financial terrain. What resources flow in? What drains them away? Like a general counting his gold, you must know exactly where every coin serves your strategy. Second, survey your stockpile. The wise commander never leads his army without knowing his granaries. Walk to your pantry now. Open every cabinet. Count every can, every bag of rice, every container of water. This is not mere counting. This is measuring your resilience against chaos. Third, map your dependencies. What systems must function for your daily life to continue? Electricity, municipal water, internet, transportation. Each dependency is a potential vulnerability. Each vulnerability is a battle waiting to happen. But knowledge alone is not power. It is merely the seed from which power grows. As you conduct these assessments, you must face uncomfortable truths. Perhaps your supplies would last mere days. Perhaps your savings would crumble under a month's siege of unexpected expenses. Do not turn away from these revelations. In my era, the general who ignored his weaknesses faced defeat on the battlefield. In your era, the one who ignores their vulnerabilities faces defeat in daily life. The difference is only in scale and speed. Remember this wisdom. The warrior who knows his strengths can fight 1 battle. The warrior who knows his weaknesses can win 1,000. Your awareness of vulnerability becomes your greatest shield. Some will call this assessment excessive. They are the same ones who will beg for aid when chaos arrives. You must rise above such complacency. Every great strategy begins with honest evaluation. Every victory is born from knowing exactly where you stand. Take out your notebook now. Begin your assessment. Write down every dependency, every resource, every vulnerability. Be thorough, be honest, be relentless in your self-examination. This document becomes your battle plan, your map through uncertainty. The path of preparedness begins with this single step, knowing yourself completely. Only then can you begin to fortify your position. Only then can you truly begin to prepare for whatever battles tomorrow may bring. For in this modern age, the enemy is not a distant army. It is the chaos that lurks in systems we take for granted. It is the fragility we have accepted as normal. It is the complacency that whispers, "All will be well," when wisdom demands preparation. Know yourself. Know your resources. Know your vulnerabilities. This is where we begin. This is how we build the foundation of true security in an insecure world. In ancient warfare, I taught that to predict victory, one must study the ground. Today, your battlefield is not marked by mountains and rivers, but by the shifting sands of global markets and the treacherous ravines of economic instability. Look around you. The terrain of modern life grows more volatile with each passing season. Supply chains that once flowed like mighty rivers now splinter and fragment. Empty shelves appear without warning, like ambush points in a foreign land. Prices rise like floodwaters, threatening to drown the unprepared in debt. You must learn to read this new terrain as a general reads a battlefield. Every headline carries intelligence. Every market shift signals movement of forces beyond your control. The wise warrior watches for these signs, understanding that they herald the approach of challenge. Consider the evidence before us. Container ships wait like besieged fortresses off distant coasts. Factories fall silent in far-off lands, their absence felt in your local markets. Weather patterns shift with increasing fury, destroying crops and disrupting the flow of goods. These are not isolated skirmishes. They are battles in a greater war against stability. The modern supply chain is a delicate web, more fragile than most realize. One broken strand can send ripples through the entire structure. A factory closure in Asia becomes empty shelves in America. A drought in one region becomes food shortages in another. A political decision in one nation becomes energy scarcity in dozens more. You must understand, this is your new terrain. This is the ground upon which you must fight your daily battles. Every system you rely on is interconnected, every convenience balanced on a knife's edge of complexity. The wise prepare for disruption not because they seek it, but because they see its approach in the distance. Watch the signs around you. When prices begin to climb, it is not merely inflation, it is the terrain shifting beneath your feet. When familiar brands disappear from shelves, it is not temporary, it is the map being redrawn. When services become unreliable, it is not an anomaly, it is the battlefield transforming. In my time, I taught generals to seek high ground, to know the paths of retreat, to understand where water flows. Today, you must learn new forms of strategic advantage. Where are your alternate supply routes? What high ground can you secure? Through preparation? How will you navigate when familiar paths are cut off? The terrain of chaos reveals itself to those who know how to look. Watch how your neighbors behave, their panic buying signals approaching storms. Observe local businesses, their changing hours or reduced stock tell tales of systemic stress. Listen to workers in essential services. Their whispered concerns forecast future battlefields. But take heart, for while this terrain is treacherous, it is not unnavigable. Just as ancient armies learned to cross deserts and scale mountains, you can learn to traverse these new challenges. The key lies in understanding the nature of the ground beneath your feet. You must become a student of systems. Understand how your food travels from field to plate. Learn how your water flows from source to tap. Study how power moves from generation to your home. This knowledge becomes your map through uncertain terrain. When you understand the terrain, you can predict where it will fail. When you can predict failure, you can prepare for it. When you are prepared, you transform from victim to victor. This is the wisdom of the ages, applied to modern survival. Remember, the greatest generals did not curse the terrain. They mastered it. They did not wish for easier ground. They learned to fight on the ground they had. So must you adapt to this new landscape of uncertainty. Look now at your own position. What high ground have you secured? What supply lines have you established? What routes of retreat have you identified? These questions are not paranoid fancies. They are the essential calculations of survival in an age of systemic fragility. For in this new terrain, victory belongs not to the strongest or the richest, but to the most observant and the best prepared. The one who sees the storm approaching from afar has time to build shelter. The one who reads the signs in the market has time to secure resources. This is your battlefield. Learn it, study it, master it, for in understanding the terrain of chaos, you gain the power to navigate it with purpose and precision. In the scrolls of ancient wisdom, I wrote that he who masters 5 virtues will not be surprised by disaster. Today, I shall reveal to you the 5 fundamental principles that will transform your daily life from chaos to strategic mastery. First, among these is awareness. Like a sentinel atop the highest tower, you must maintain constant vigilance over your environment, not with paranoia, but with the calm observation of one who understands that knowledge precedes action. Watch the patterns of your local stores. Monitor the pulse of your community. Listen to the whispers of coming change before they become shouts of crisis. Awareness is not merely watching, it is understanding what you see. When the price of grain rises in distant lands, the aware one knows their bread will cost more in months to come. When fuel prices shift, they see not just the cost at the pump, but the ripples that will touch every aspect of their supply chain. The second fundamental is adaptability. In battle, the rigid general breaks, while the flexible one bends and survives. Your strategy must be like water, able to flow around obstacles, seep through cracks, and take new forms as circumstances demand. Perhaps your primary food source becomes too costly. Adaptability means having already researched and tested alternatives. Learn multiple ways to cook your food, heat your home, purify your water. Each skill you master becomes a branch of possibilities in your strategic tree. The adaptable warrior never depends on a single path to victory. Third comes minimalism, the art of doing more with less. Every possession you own must serve a purpose. Every system you rely on must justify its cost in both resources and vulnerability. The minimal warrior is not a bare existence, but an efficient one. Look at your life through the lens of necessity. What truly serves your survival and prosperity? What merely complicates your strategic position? The army that travels light can move quickly. The household that lives simply can endure hardship. The fourth fundamental is redundancy. Here lies the seeming paradox. While minimalism strips away the unnecessary, redundancy multiplies the essential. The 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Every critical system, every vital resource must have a backup, and ideally a backup for that backup. If you depend on municipal water, have stored water. If you depend on stored water, have a way to purify more. If you depend on electricity for cooking, have an alternative method. Layer your redundancies like armor, each one protecting against a different type of failure. The fifth and final fundamental is foresight. This is the crown jewel that binds the others together. Foresight is not merely planning. It is the art of reading the present so clearly that the future becomes visible. It is the ability to see not just what is, but what could be. Foresight means rotating your food storage before it expires. It means maintaining your equipment before it fails. It means strengthening relationships within your community before you need help. The general with foresight wins without fighting because the battle is decided before it begins. These 5 fundamentals are not separate principles. They are aspects of a single strategic mind. Awareness feeds foresight. Foresight enables adaptability. Minimalism creates space for redundancy. Each supports and strengthens the others. Consider how these fundamentals manifest in daily life. When you grocery shop with awareness, you notice subtle changes in stock levels. When you maintain adaptability, a power outage becomes an inconvenience rather than a crisis. When you embrace minimalism, your resources stretch further. When you build redundancy, your peace of mind grows stronger. When you cultivate foresight, your confidence becomes unshakable. The wise prepare not out of fear, but out of respect for these fundamental principles. They understand that mastery of these 5 virtues creates not just security, but a deeper, more purposeful way of living. Each fundamental must be practiced daily. Awareness is not a one-time assessment, but a constant state of being. Adaptability must be tested and refined through regular practice. Minimalism requires ongoing evaluation and adjustment. Redundancy needs maintenance and updating. Foresight demands regular reflection and planning. Some will say these principles make life too complicated. They are wrong. These fundamentals simplify life by providing a clear framework for every decision. Should you buy this item, the fundamentals will guide you. Should you learn this skill, the fundamentals will answer. Remember, the one who masters these 5 fundamentals becomes unstoppable not through force, but through wisdom. They move through life not as a victim of circumstance, but as a master of strategy. Let these principles become the foundation of your daily practice. Let them guide your decisions, shape your preparations, and strengthen your position. For when these 5 fundamentals become second nature, you will find yourself prepared not just for crisis, but for any challenge life may bring. A wise general spares arrows, a wise warrior spares dollars. In the modern battlefield of resource management, waste is not merely inefficiency, it is a silent enemy that bleeds you dry before the real battle begins. Today, we shall examine the 4 battlefronts where waste must be confronted and conquered: time, energy, money, and resources. Each represents a critical theater of operations where victory or defeat is determined by your strategic discipline. Begin with time, the one resource that can never be recovered once lost. Observe your daily routines with a general's eye. Where are the inefficient movements, the redundant actions, the meaningless distractions? Time wasted is preparation. Denied. Map your day as you would map a campaign. Every hour must serve a purpose. Every activity must advance your position. This is not about becoming a machine. It is about ensuring that when you rest, it is strategic rest. When you work, it is purposeful work. Next, we turn to energy, both yours and that which powers your fortress. In my era, armies marched on their stamina. Today your home marches on electricity, gas, and human vigor. Waste in any of these depletes your strategic reserves. Examine your energy expenditure as a general examines his supply lines. Where does power leak from your home? What activities drain your personal energy without strategic return? A fortress with gaps in its walls bleeds heat. A life with gaps in its energy management bleeds potential. Look at your appliances, each one a soldier in your army of convenience. How efficiently do they serve? That old refrigerator consuming excess electricity is like a soldier eating double rations while performing half the duty. Replace or repair what drains more than it delivers. Now we face money, the modern equivalent of an army's treasury. Here, waste takes its most insidious form, hiding in small daily decisions that accumulate into strategic vulnerability. The general who cannot manage his gold cannot sustain his army. Study your spending as you would study enemy movements. Track every dollar like a scout tracking troops. Where does your money desert to? What expenses ambush your savings? Small leaks sink great ships. Small expenses drain great fortunes. Implement the strategy of zero-waste budgeting. Every dollar must have its mission. Every purchase must serve your strategic objectives. The impulsive buy is like an undisciplined soldier. It weakens your entire formation. Consider your food supplies, a critical theater where waste wages, constant, war against your resources. The average household surrenders 30% of its food to the enemy of waste. This is not merely lost money, it is lost security, lost preparation, lost strategic advantage. Institute a system of meal planning with the precision of a military campaign. Know what you have, know what you need, know what must be used before time renders it useless. A well-planned meal schedule is like a well-planned battle strategy. It maximizes resources while minimizing losses. Learn the art of food preservation. Every piece of produce saved from waste is a resource secured for future challenges. Canning, drying, freezing. These are not merely cooking techniques, they are strategic operations in the war against waste. With money preserved and energy conserved, turn your attention to physical resources. The modern household is often a cluttered battlefield where unused items consume space, energy, and mental resources. In military terms, these are troops that eat but do not fight. Execute a tactical assessment of your possessions. Every item must justify its place in your fortress. Does it serve a vital function? Does it contribute to your strategic readiness? If not, it is not merely unused, it is an active drain on your position. The art of organization becomes a strategic imperative. An organized space is like a well-ordered camp, everything ready for immediate deployment, nothing lost to confusion or decay. Position your resources as a general positions his troops, each in its place, each ready for action. Implement the principle of immediate action on waste. When you see inefficiency, correct it. When you spot waste, eliminate it. The longer you allow waste to persist, the more resources it consumes, the more it weakens your position. Some will call this attention to waste excessive, these calculations too detailed. They are the same ones who find themselves defenseless when resources grow scarce. The general who wastes in times of plenty will lack in times of need. Remember this teaching. Frugality is not deprivation, it is strategic excellence. The most powerful position is not having the most resources, but using resources most effectively. This is the path to true security in an unstable world. Let every day be a campaign against waste. Let every decision be measured against the standard of strategic efficiency. For in mastering the war against waste, you master the art of sustainable strength. This is how resources become power, and power becomes security. In ancient warfare, I taught that an army's strength lies not in its numbers, but in its supply lines. Today, your household is an army unto itself, and your supply lines are the critical arteries that sustain your position. We must examine these lifelines with the scrutiny of a battle-hardened general. First, consider your food supply chain, the most fundamental of all supply lines. From distant fields to your table, this chain stretches across continents, vulnerable at every link. Map it as you would map an army's route through hostile territory. Where does your food originate? Through what channels does it flow? Where are the weak points? Your local grocery store is not a source. It is merely the final distributions point. Behind it lies a complex network of warehouses, transportation systems, and processing facilities. Each represents a potential point of failure in your supply line. The wise warrior secures alternate routes before the primary path is cut. Establish direct connections to local food producers, farmers markets, community-supported agriculture, local ranchers. These are not merely trendy alternatives. They are strategic partnerships that shorten and strengthen your supply lines. The shorter the line, the fewer points of vulnerability. Next, examine your water supply line, the most critical of all resources. Municipal water systems are marvels of engineering, but they are also centralized points of failure. A single contamination event, a power failure at a pumping station, a broken main, any of these can sever this essential supply line. Map your water sources as meticulously as an ancient general would map wells and rivers. Where does your tap water originate? What is the condition of the infrastructure that delivers it? What natural water sources exist in your area? Knowledge of water is knowledge of life itself. Develop a 3-tier water strategy: municipal supply, stored water, and water procurement capability. Each tier must be tested, maintained, and fully understood. Learn to purify water from multiple sources. Practice using your equipment before necessity demands it. The time to learn is not when the taps run dry. Your power supply line demands equal attention. Electricity flows into your fortress through a complex grid, a system both miraculous and fragile. A storm, a technical failure, a surge in demand. Countless factors can disrupt this vital supply line. The prepared warrior has layers of energy redundancy. Map your power requirements as you would map an army's logistical needs. What systems in your home depend on electricity? Which are critical? Which could you temporarily forfeit? Prioritize your power needs as a general prioritizes his resources. Not all systems require equal backup capability. Consider your information supply lines, often overlooked but critically important in modern survival. How do you receive news? Weather alerts? Emergency broadcasts? These channels of intelligence can mean the difference between early preparation and late reaction. Diversify your information sources as you would diversify your scouts. Establish multiple channels of communication. When primary systems fail, alternate pathways become invaluable. Radio, both traditional and amateur bands, printed references, local information networks, each serves as a backup to modern digital systems. Now examine your financial supply lines. Money flows through digital networks as supplies once flowed. Through ancient trade routes. These pathways can be severed by technical failures, cyber attacks, or systemic disruptions. The wise warrior maintains multiple channels for financial operations. Develop relationships with local financial institutions. Understand both digital and physical banking systems. Keep sufficient physical currency in reserve. The ability to conduct transactions when normal systems fail is a crucial strategic advantage. For each supply line, implement the principle of redundancy. 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is security. Each critical supply must have multiple pathways to reach you. When others panic at the failure of primary systems, you will calmly activate your alternatives. Create a detailed map of your supply lines. Document primary sources, alternate suppliers, emergency backups. This is your strategic playbook, your guide to maintaining position when others lose their footing. Update it regularly as conditions change. Test your supply lines before they are tested by circumstances. Practice using your backup systems. Rotate your stored supplies. Maintain your equipment. A supply line that fails when first called upon is worse than no supply line at all. Some will call this level of supply line management excessive. They are the same ones who will be desperately seeking help when primary systems fail. The time to strengthen supply lines is before they are stressed, not during crisis. Remember this wisdom. The most resilient supply line is the one with the most alternatives. Build your supply network not as a single channel, but as a web of possibilities. When one path fails, others remain viable. Let your supply line doctrine become second nature. Let it guide your daily decisions and long-term planning. For in mastering your supply lines, you master the art of sustainable independence. This is the foundation of true security in an uncertain world. Make your home a fortress of calm in a siege of panic. This is the wisdom I share with you today, not merely about physical security, but about creating an impregnable position from which to weather any storm. Your home must become more than shelter. It must become your strategic command center. Begin with the outer perimeter. Just as ancient fortresses had layers of defense, your home must have concentric rings of security. Assess your property line as a general surveys his defensive position. What approaches offer cover to potential threats? Where are the natural surveillance points? How can you control access while maintaining rapid escape routes? Lighting becomes your first soldier in this defensive array. Strategic illumination defeats the advantage of darkness without betraying your position. Consider motion-activated lights for surprise detection, low-level constant lighting for general deterrence. The wise general uses light as both sword and shield. Your doors and windows are not merely entrances, they are potential breach points that must be reinforced. Modern materials offer strength the ancient fortress builders could only dream of. But remember, a chain breaks at its weakest link. The strongest door means nothing if its frame is weak, its hinges vulnerable. Install multiple layers of locking mechanisms. The time an intruder spends defeating one lock is time you have to prepare your response, but beyond the physical barriers, consider the psychological ones. Signs of occupancy, of readiness, of community awareness, these often deter threats before they materialize. Now move to your interior defensive positions. Every room must serve both its daily purpose and its emergency function. Map out your shelter-in-place locations. Identify your fallback positions. Know which rooms offer the best protection from different types of threats, whether natural or human. Create dedicated storage spaces that blend seamlessly with daily life. The art of fortification is not about obvious stockpiles, but about strategic placement of resources. Every room should have emergency supplies integrated naturally into its layout. Water, food, medical supplies, positioned for both convenience and concealment. Temperature control becomes a critical battlefield in your fortress strategy. Summer heat and winter cold are enemies as dangerous as any human adversary. Plan your passive cooling and heating methods, natural ventilation paths, thermal mass utilization, seasonal sun exposure. These are the tactics of climate control when power fails. Establish your command and control center, a place where information flows in and decisions flow out. This might be a home office or a dedicated space where emergency communications equipment, documents, and coordination tools are readily accessible. In crisis, information becomes as valuable as ammunition. Design your space for tactical flexibility. Furniture placement should allow for rapid movement and multiple uses. Heavy items can become defensive barriers. Open spaces can become temporary storage or medical treatment areas. Think in terms of multi-purpose capabilities for every room, every item. Water and food storage must be integrated intelligently throughout. Your stronghold. Decentralize your supplies. Never keep all resources in one location. The wise general does not store all his provisions in a single warehouse. Multiple caches, strategically placed, ensure that the loss of one does not mean the loss of all. Create redundant systems for essential functions. Cooking, water purification, waste management, temperature control, each must have primary, secondary, and emergency methods. The prepared fortress does not rely on a single solution for any critical need. Establish clear protocols for different scenarios. Every member of your household must know their role, their rally points, their responsibilities. Regular drills are not paranoid exercises. They are the practice that makes response automatic when stress makes complex thinking difficult. Communications become crucial in your fortress design. Create a dedicated space for your emergency. Radio equipment, backup power supplies, and information coordination. But remember, electronic communications can fail. Have non-electronic backups for critical information. Consider your air quality management. In both natural disasters and human-caused crises, air can become your enemy. Plan your filtration options, know how to seal rooms if necessary. Understand your ventilation systems and how to modify them as circumstances demand. Maintain operational security in your preparations. The wise general does not advertise his defensive preparations. Integrate your security measures naturally into your home's appearance. The best fortress appears unremarkable from the outside while maintaining vigilant readiness within. Some will say this level of home preparation is excessive. They are the same ones who will be desperately improvising when crisis strikes. The time to fortify is not when the storm clouds gather, but when the sky is clear. Remember this teaching. A fortress is not merely walls and supplies. It is a system of systems, a carefully orchestrated integration of security, sustainability, and survivability. Your home must become a place of both comfort in peace and confidence in crisis. Let your fortress evolution be continuous. Let each improvement build upon the last. For in creating a true stronghold, you create more than security. You create the foundation of resilience in an uncertain world. Strike when the iron is soft, not when it is hot. This ancient wisdom speaks to the supreme importance of timing in all strategic matters. In your modern world, mastering the rhythms of resources, seasons, and markets becomes as crucial as mastering the timing of battle movements. Time is not a river that flows evenly. It is a series of cycles, each bringing its own opportunities and challenges. The master strategist learns to read these cycles, to move with them rather than against them. Your victory or defeat often lies not in what you do, but when you do it. Consider first the cycles of commerce. Every resource has its season of abundance and its season of scarcity. The wise warrior builds their stockpile not when necessity demands it, but when opportunity presents itself. Watch the patterns of pricing as a general watches the movements of armies. In the retail world, these cycles are predictable to those who study them. Winter clothing becomes abundant and cheap. In spring, summer equipment is discounted in fall. Holiday supplies can be acquired at fraction of their cost immediately after celebrations. These are not mere sales. They are strategic opportunities. Learn the rhythm of your local markets. When do stores restock? When do they mark down perishables? When do seasonal transitions occur? This knowledge becomes your tactical advantage. The shopper who arrives as items are being marked down gains more resources for the same strategic investment. Understand the cycles of food production. Each crop has its peak season, its time of greatest abundance and lowest cost. This is when you strike, not buying merely for the week, but for the season. The wise general fills his granaries when grain is plentiful, not when winter's scarcity drives prices high. Create a calendar of strategic timing. Mark the seasons, not by months, but by opportunities. When do farmers' markets begin and end? When do hunting seasons open? When do particular items typically go on sale? Your calendar becomes your battle plan, telling you when to advance and when to hold position. Storage must be synchronized with these cycles. Your capacity to store must align with your opportunities to acquire. It is futile to wait for the perfect price if you haven't created the space and systems to capitalize on it. Preparation and timing must work as one. Consider the timing of skill acquisition. Each preparation, each new capability requires its own season of learning and practice. You do not learn winter survival skills in winter. You master them in comfort, so they serve you in crisis. The time to learn is not when skills are needed, but when they can be practiced without pressure. Financial timing demands equal attention. Markets move in cycles of fear and confidence. The prepared strategist builds their reserves not in times of panic, but in times of plenty. They secure their resources not when everyone is buying, but when others are selling. Watch for the signals that precede change. Price increases are often telegraphed months in advance through subtle shifts in packaging, quantity, or quality. The aware warrior reads these signs and acts before the masses recognize the situation. This is how you stay ahead of the herd. Timing extends to maintenance and rotation. Your supplies are not static artifacts, but dynamic resources that must be cycled, updated, and maintained. Create a schedule as precise as a military maintenance log. What must be checked monthly, seasonally, annually? The difference between working equipment and worthless tools often lies in timing of maintenance. Even information gathering has its optimal timing. When are new products released? When do annual reports come out? When do government agencies update their assessments? Timing your intelligence gathering multiplies its value. The general who knows what is coming possesses a priceless advantage. Build your networks before you need them. Connections made in times of calm are worth 10 times those attempted in crisis. The time to know your local farmers, your community craftsmen, your neighborhood allies is not when their services become critical. Relationships, like all strategic resources, must be cultivated in their proper season. Some will say this attention to timing is excessive micromanagement. They are the same ones who will pay premium prices for last-minute preparations, who will attempt to learn crucial skills under pressure, who will try to build networks in the midst of crisis. Remember this teaching. Timing is not just about when you act, it is about the sequence of your preparations. Each step must build upon the last in a logical progression. You do not build the roof before the foundation, just as you do not stockpile food before learning proper storage methods. Let timing become your constant study. Let the rhythms of the world inform your strategic planning, for in mastering the art of timing, you master the ability to accomplish more with less, to prepare without waste, to act decisively when opportunity presents itself. Your strategy must flow with the cycles of time, not against them. This is how resources are maximized, how preparations are optimized, how security is achieved without exhausting your position. The blade of timing, when properly wielded, cuts through the challenges that defeat the unprepared. The greatest strategist defeats fear before facing foes. This truth echoes through the centuries, yet few truly understand its depth. Today we shall explore your most powerful weapon, one that cannot be bought, cannot be stolen, and cannot be broken. We speak of mindset, the invisible blade that cuts through chaos. In ancient battles, I observed that armies of equal size and equipment often produced vastly different outcomes. The difference lay not in their weapons, but in their minds. The army that maintained discipline under pressure, that remained focused amid chaos, that kept calm in the face of uncertainty, this was the army that prevailed. Your mindset is not merely a state of mind. It is a weapon to be forged, sharpened, and wielded with precision. Like any weapon, it requires training, maintenance, and deliberate mastery. The untrained mind shatters under pressure. The disciplined mind becomes stronger. Begin with the foundation of all mental strength, emotional control. When others panic, you must remain composed. When others react, you must respond. When others become overwhelmed, you must maintain clarity. This is not natural. It is a skill developed through consistent practice. Practice emotional control in small, daily challenges. When traffic disrupts your schedule, when technology fails, when plans collapse, these are not mere inconveniences. They are opportunities to strengthen your mental discipline. Each frustration becomes a training ground for greater challenges. Develop what I call the strategic pause, the ability to create mental space between event and response. In battle, the warrior who reacts instantly to every movement often falls into traps. The one who pauses, assesses, then acts with purpose survives to fight another day. Your mind must become like still water, reflecting reality clearly without distortion from fear or desire. This clarity comes not from suppressing emotions, but from understanding them as information rather than commands. Fear becomes intelligence about potential threats. Anxiety becomes awareness of necessary preparation. Build your mental fortifications through regular training. Just as a fortress has outer walls and inner keeps, your mind must have layers of defense against panic, despair, and confusion. Each layer is built through deliberate practice, through facing and mastering increasingly difficult challenges. Meditation becomes not merely a peaceful practice, but a tactical advantage, the ability to quiet your mind at will, to focus despite distraction, to think clearly under pressure. These are skills that separate the prepared from the panicked. Train them as diligently as any physical technique. Your invisible weapon must be maintained through proper mental hygiene. Just as a sword must be cleaned and oiled, your mind must be regularly cleared of mental clutter, negative patterns, and unproductive thoughts. Establish daily rituals for mental maintenance, reflection, planning, skill review. Learn to recognize and counter mental fatigue. In extended crises, it is often not physical resources that fail first, but mental resilience. The prepared warrior knows their mental limits and has techniques to restore psychological strength. Rest becomes not weakness, but tactical necessity. Develop what I call strategic optimism, not blind positivity, but the calculated understanding that challenges bring opportunities. This mindset transforms obstacles from sources of despair into sources of advantage. Where others see only threat, you must train yourself to see also opportunity. Your mental preparation must include scenario, visualization. Like a general walking the battlefield before combat, regularly walk through challenging scenarios in your mind. Not with anxiety, but with calm calculation. What would you do if? How would you respond when? This mental rehearsal builds neural pathways for decisive action. Create mental triggers for rapid state control, just as a warrior has practiced movements. For instant response, develop practiced mental states for different situations. Calm for crisis, focused for complexity, adaptable for chaos. Each state should be accessible through deliberate triggers you have established. Some will say this: attention to mental training is excessive philosophizing. They are the same ones whose minds will crumble when their comfortable routines are disrupted. The time to build mental strength is not during crisis, but in daily life. Remember this teaching: your mindset is not something you have, it is something you cultivate. Like a garden, it must be tended daily, weeded regularly, and strengthened constantly. This cultivation is not separate from your other preparations. It is the foundation that makes all other preparations effective. Let your invisible weapon become your constant companion. Let each day be an opportunity to sharpen its edge. For in mastering your mindset, you master the one weapon that cannot be taken from you, the one resource that appreciates rather than depletes with use. The strongest fortress can be breached, the largest stockpile can be depleted, but the disciplined mind becomes more resilient with each challenge it faces. This is the ultimate strategic advantage, the power to remain clear, focused, and decisive when others lose their way. An army without tools loses to time, not to enemies. This wisdom, passed down through centuries of warfare, applies with equal force to your modern preparations. Today, we shall examine the art of building your arsenal, not of weapons, but of tools that transform mere survival into strategic advantage. Your tools are not mere possessions, they are force multipliers, each one extending your capabilities beyond natural limits. Like a general selecting equipment for his army, you must choose each tool with careful consideration of its strategic value, its reliability, and its role in your overall preparation. Begin with the foundations of power independence. In your era, electricity flows like lifeblood through every system, yet this power can be interrupted, diminished, or lost. Your first category of tools must address this vulnerability: solar chargers, power banks, and manual alternatives for electronic devices. These become your first line of defense against energy disruption. Each power tool must be chosen with redundancy in mind. One is none, two is one. Your solar charger must have backup batteries. Your batteries must have alternative charging methods. Your charging methods must work with multiple types of equipment. This layered approach transforms a simple tool into a robust system. Next, consider your food preparation arsenal. The ability to preserve and prepare food without modern conveniences becomes crucial in times of disruption. Canning equipment, dehydrators, manual grain mills. These are not merely cooking tools, they are strategic assets that transform temporary abundance into long-term security. Your food tools must span from immediate to long-term needs. Manual. Can openers, backup cooking methods, food preservation systems, each serves its role in your strategic depth. The wise general does not depend on a single supply line. The prepared strategist does not depend on a single method of food preparation. Communication tools form another critical category. When normal channels fail, alternative methods become invaluable. Hand-crank emergency radios, long-range two-way communication devices, physical maps and compasses. These become your eyes and ears in a world where normal information channels have gone silent. Develop your medical toolkit with the same strategic depth. Beyond basic first aid supplies, acquire the tools that extend your medical capabilities: pressure cuffs, pulse oximeters, comprehensive diagnostic guides. These tools transform limited medical knowledge into practical capability. Water procurement and purification tools demand particular attention. Clean water is life itself. Your arsenal must include multiple methods of purification: filters, chemical treatments, boiling, equipment. Each method must be tested, understood, and maintained in constant readiness. Maintenance tools become their own category of strategic importance. The ability to repair, modify, and maintain your equipment transforms them from temporary assets into permanent advantages. Basic tool sets, specialized repair kits, spare parts. These are not extras, but essentials. Consider your documentation tools. In crisis, information becomes as valuable as physical resources. Waterproof paper, permanent marking tools, backup digital storage. These preserve crucial information when normal records become inaccessible. The general who loses his maps loses his advantage. Organize your tools in tiers of readiness. First line. Tools must be immediately accessible. Secondary systems can require some preparation time. Reserve equipment can be stored for long-term contingencies. Like an army's equipment, your tools must be positioned for both immediate response and sustained operations. Quality becomes a strategic consideration in tool selection. The cheapest tool fails when most needed. The highest quality tool serves beyond expectations. Investment in quality is not expense. It is insurance against failure at critical moments. But quality alone is not enough. Tools must be chosen for simplicity and reliability. Complex mechanisms fail under stress. Simple, robust tools continue to function. The wise warrior chooses tools that work under the widest range of conditions with the least potential for failure. Establish a maintenance protocol for all your tools. Like weapons in an armory, tools must be regularly inspected, cleaned, and tested. Create a schedule as rigorous as military equipment maintenance. A well-maintained simple tool surpasses a neglected advanced one. Training becomes inseparable from tool acquisition. Each new tool must be mastered in times of calm. Understanding their operation, their limitations, their maintenance needs. This knowledge transforms tools from mere possessions into genuine capabilities. Some will say this systematic approach to tools is excessive. They are the same ones who will find themselves helpless when their single point of failure tools become unusable. The time to expand your capabilities is not when they are desperately needed. Remember this teaching. Tools are not your strategy. They enable your strategy. The finest equipment serves no purpose without the knowledge to use it, the discipline to maintain it, and the wisdom to deploy it effectively. Let your tool selection be guided by strategic necessity, not momentary convenience. Let each addition to your arsenal serve a clear purpose in your preparation, for in building your army of tools, you build not just a collection of equipment, but a framework of capability that serves you in both crisis and calm. Victory is shared by those who prepare together. In ancient warfare, I taught that no kingdom stands alone against the tide of chaos. Today, this wisdom applies with even greater force. The prepared individual must become the nucleus of a prepared community, for in isolation, even the strongest position can be overwhelmed. Your alliances must be built like a fortress, with careful planning, solid foundations, and layers of mutual support. But unlike the visible walls of a castle, these connections must be cultivated quietly, without drawing attention. The wise warrior builds their network in silence, knowing that strength lies in preparation, not proclamation. Begin with your immediate circle, family, and household members. These are your closest allies, your first line of mutual support. Each must understand their role, their responsibilities, and the protocols that will guide your collective response to crisis. Like a well-trained unit, your household must move with coordinated purpose. Train together as ancient warriors trained together. Practice your protocols, test your communications, rehearse your responses. Each member must know not just their own duties, but how their role interconnects with others. This is not paranoid drilling. It is practical preparation that builds confident coordination. Expand your alliance carefully to trusted neighbors. These become your local support network, your immediate mutual aid group. But choose wisely. Not every neighbor has the disposition or dedication for serious preparation. Look for those who show awareness, responsibility, and quiet competence. Build these neighborhood connections through practical activities, garden sharing, tool lending, skill exchange. These everyday interactions become the foundation of deeper trust. The wise general knows his allies before he needs them. The prepared citizen builds relationships before crisis demands them. Develop what I call capability mapping within your alliance network. Who has medical training? Who knows food preservation? Who understands communications technology? Each skill becomes a strategic asset, each knowledge base a resource to be called upon when needed. Create redundancy in your alliance structure. No critical capability should exist in only one member of your network. Cross-train, share knowledge, develop backup skills. The strength of your alliance lies not in individual expertise, but in overlapping capabilities. Establish secure communications protocols within your network. How will you contact each other when normal channels fail? What signals will indicate different types of needs or alerts? Like military units coordinating in the field, your alliance must have clear, reliable methods of communication. Consider the formation of specialized subgroups within your larger network. Some allies might focus on medical preparation, others on food production, still others on security or communications. Like specialized units in an army, each group develops deep expertise while supporting the whole. Build your alliances across different geographical areas. Local connections are crucial, but distant allies provide strategic depth. They offer fallback positions, alternative resource channels, different regional perspectives. The wise strategist never depends on a single geographical area. Develop relationships with those who possess crucial skills: farmers, mechanics, medical professionals, communications experts. These become your specialized auxiliary forces, each bringing vital capabilities to your alliance. Cultivate these connections through regular interaction and mutual support. Maintain operational security in all your alliance building. Not every member needs to know every aspect of your preparation. Compartmentalize information as a military organization does, each member knowing what they need to know for their role, but not necessarily the full scope of the network. Regular maintenance of alliances becomes as crucial as maintenance of equipment. Relationships left untended grow weak. Networks without regular contact become unreliable. Schedule regular meetings, training sessions, or social gatherings that reinforce your connections while maintaining discretion. Create systems for resource sharing that benefit all members. Tool libraries, bulk purchasing groups, shared training expenses. These practical arrangements strengthen bonds while building collective capability. The alliance that trains together, that shares resources wisely, grows stronger together. Some will say this focus on alliance building diverts energy from individual preparation. They fail to understand that the strongest individual position can be overwhelmed by events that a well-prepared network would weather easily. No one survives alone when systems fail. Remember this teaching: alliances are not about dependency. They are about mutual reinforcement. Each member must be strong individually while contributing to collective strength. This is how resilient communities are built, how lasting security is achieved. Let your alliance building be guided by strategic wisdom, not social convenience. Let each connection serve a clear purpose in your preparation. For in creating your network of trusted allies, you create something greater than individual readiness. You create resilient community. This is how victory is achieved in times of chaos, not through isolated strength, but through quiet, prepared collaboration. Your alliances become your extended fortress, your force multiplier, your strategic depth in facing whatever challenges may come. Where truth is hidden, the prepared prosper. In ancient warfare, I taught generals to see through the fog of deception. Today you must learn to pierce the veils that obscure truth in your modern marketplace, for the battlefield of commerce is thick with tactics designed to mislead the unwary. The first deception you must master is shrinkflation, the art of reducing quantity while maintaining price. Like an army that appears unchanged while its ranks thin, products maintain their outer appearance while their contents diminish. The wise warrior learns to see beyond packaging to true value. Study the numbers on every package, not the bold claims that draw the eye, but the small print that tells the truth. When a product that was 16 ounces becomes 14, when a package that held 20 units now holds 18, these are not random changes. They are strategic retreats disguised as stability. Learn to recognize the signs of impending price increases. Like scouts reporting enemy movements, certain indicators telegraph future changes. When packaging suddenly changes, when marketing campaigns intensify, when new and improved appears, these often herald attempts to condition buyers for higher prices. The second deception is quality degradation, the subtle reduction of product quality while maintaining appearance. Watch for changes in ingredient lists, for subtle shifts in material composition. The wise observer notes when 100% pure becomes made with pure ingredients, when solid materials become hollow, when durable materials become fragile. Develop a systematic approach to product assessment. Record the specifications, the weight, the ingredients of your crucial supplies. Like a general maintaining intelligence on enemy capabilities, your records will reveal patterns of degradation that casual observation misses. Master the art of unit price comparison. When packages change size, when bonus amounts appear, when economy size claims compete with standard offerings, only price per unit reveals the truth. The skilled strategist sees through packaging illusion to true cost. Beware the deception of false scarcity. When shelves empty without clear cause, when limited time offers appear repeatedly, when artificial constraints create urgency, these are often tactical movements designed to prompt unconsidered action. The wise warrior distinguishes between true shortages and manufactured ones. Study the timing of sales and promotions. These are not random events but calculated campaigns. Like military maneuvers, they follow patterns. Holiday discounts, seasonal clearances, end-of-quarter promotions. Understanding these cycles reveals when apparent bargains are true opportunities and when they are mirages. Learn to read corporate communications with a strategic eye. Annual reports, press releases, industry news, these contain signals for those who know how to interpret them. When companies speak of supply chain optimization, of product evolution, of market adaptation, these phrases often mask coming changes that affect your position. The third deception is the manipulation of perceived value. When products are bundled, when services are combined, when free additions are offered, look carefully at the true cost. Like a military alliance that appears to offer protection, while extracting tribute, these combinations often conceal their true price. Develop expertise in spotting package manipulation. When containers become taller but narrower, when flat bottoms become concave, when clear containers become opaque, these changes often mask reduction in content. The observant warrior measures not by appearance, but by substance. Learn the IO language of ingredient substitution. When natural flavors replace named ingredients, when chemical compounds replace simple components, when processes become more complex, these often indicate cost-cutting measures that affect quality. The wise consumer reads not just the front label, but the detailed list of contents. Watch for the signs of impending product discontinuation. When variety decreases, when shelf position changes, when availability becomes sporadic, these often signal that a product's end is near. The prepared strategist secures alternatives before their preferred option disappears. Some will say this level of market vigilance is paranoid. They are the same ones who will wonder why their costs rise while their satisfaction falls. The time to understand market deception is not when your resources are already depleted. Remember this teaching. In the marketplace, as in warfare, what appears to be is not always what is. The surface calms often mask deeper currents of change. The prepared observer looks beyond appearance to essence. Let your market awareness become as sharp as a general's battlefield intelligence. Let each shopping expedition be an opportunity for strategic observation. For in mastering the art of seeing through marketplace deception, you gain the power to maintain your position while others lose ground. Those who understand the nature of commercial deception make their preparation while others sleep. They secure their resources while others waste them on illusions. They maintain their strategic advantage not through force, but through clarity of vision in a marketplace clouded by tactical misdirection. The greatest victory is surviving without a fight. In ancient warfare, I taught that the wise general secures his position before conflict begins. Today we shall examine the art of stockpile strategy, not mere accumulation, but the sophisticated orchestration of resources that transforms storage into security. Begin with the foundation of all stockpile strategy, the balance between quantity and quality. Like an army that must be both large enough to prevail and skilled enough to fight effectively, your stores must balance bulk with excellence. The wise strategist understands that a smaller cache of high-quality supplies often surpasses a larger store of inferior goods. First, master the principles of storage environment. Temperature, humidity, light exposure. These are not mere conditions, but strategic factors that determine the longevity of your position. Like a general choosing advantageous terrain, select your storage locations based on their natural defensive qualities against decay. Create multiple storage zones with different environmental characteristics. Cool, dry areas for shelf-stable goods, dark spaces for light-sensitive materials, temperature-controlled sections for delicate supplies. Each zone becomes a specialized fortress, optimized for its specific contents. Learn the art of rotation, the continuous movement of resources that keeps your stockpile fresh and viable. Like a military unit that must regularly cycle between front lines and reserve positions, your supplies must move through a systematic pattern of use and replacement. First in, first out becomes your tactical doctrine. Establish clear inventory systems. Like a quartermaster tracking military supplies, you must know exactly what you have, where it is stored, and when it must be used or replaced. Vague estimates lead to waste. Precise knowledge enables strategic deployment of resources. Master the science of shelf life extension. Every category of supply has its optimal storage conditions, its vulnerabilities, its potential for extended service. Study these factors as a general studies the capabilities of his troops. Learn which items can be preserved beyond their stated dates through proper storage techniques. Implement what I call the cascade of consumption, organizing supplies, so that items approaching their prime usage date naturally flow toward immediate access, while fresher supplies maintain strategic depth. This is not mere organization, it is the choreography of resource deployment. Develop expertise in packaging assessment. The container that holds your supplies becomes their first line of defense. Learn to recognize signs of compromise, subtle damage, seal failures, material degradation. The wise warrior inspects their armor before battle. The prepared strategist examines their storage containers with equal care. Create redundancy in critical supplies. The rule of three becomes your doctrine. Primary supply, backup supply, emergency reserve. Like a military force with multiple fallback positions, your stockpile must have depth that allows for unexpected losses without compromising your strategic position. Study the art of supply concealment. Not all resources should be stored in a single location. Distribute your supplies like a general distributes his forces, strategically placed to maintain security while ensuring accessibility. Multiple, smaller caches often prove more resilient than a single, large stockpile. Master the balance of variety and standardization. While diversity provides tactical flexibility, too much variation complicates maintenance and rotation. Standardize where possible for efficiency, diversify where necessary for security. This is the equilibrium that sustains long-term readiness. Implement regular auditing protocols. Like battlefield reconnaissance, these inspections reveal developing problems before they become critical. Check for damage, verify rotation schedules, assess environmental conditions. Early detection of issues prevents strategic surprise. Develop what I call consumption mapping, understanding not just what you have, but how quickly different supplies deplete under various conditions. Normal use, elevated consumption during stress, emergency deployment. Each scenario demands different supply calculations. Create clear documentation of your stockpile system, storage locations, rotation schedules, inspection protocols. This becomes your strategic playbook. Like military operational plans, this documentation ensures continuity of practice even when normal routines are disrupted. Some will say this level of stockpile sophistication is unnecessary. They are the same ones who will find their supplies spoiled or insufficient when need arises. The time to perfect your storage strategy is not when resources become scarce. Remember this teaching: a stockpile is not a static hoard, but a dynamic system that requires constant attention and adjustment. Like an army that must train in peacetime to be effective in war, your supplies must be actively managed to serve when called upon. Let your stockpile strategy become as natural as breathing. Let each resupply mission serve to strengthen your position. For in mastering the art of strategic storage, you master the ability to maintain independence when others fall into dependency. The wise strategist knows that true security lies not in the quantity of supplies, but in the sophistication of their management. This is how resources become reliability, how preparation becomes readiness, how stockpiles become strategic advantage. Leave no gate unguarded, no asset without a twin. This ancient military wisdom takes on new meaning in your modern world. 2 is 1, and 1 is none. This becomes your mantra of preparation. For in redundancy lies not excess, but the foundation of true security. Understand first that redundancy is not mere duplication. Like a general positioning multiple units to support each other, your backup systems must complement and reinforce your primary capabilities. Each layer must add not just quantity, but quality to your strategic depth. Begin with the most critical systems, those that sustain life itself. Water procurement must have at least 3 levels of capability: municipal supply, stored water, and water procurement methods. Each level must be tested, maintained, and fully understood. The wise warrior never depends on a single source of life's most essential resource. Your water filtration systems must follow the same principle. Chemical treatment, mechanical filters, boiling capability. Each method becomes a layer of defense against contamination. When one system fails, others stand ready. This is not paranoia. It is the architecture of reliable preparation. Apply this thinking to your power systems. Grid power, generator backup, solar capability, manual alternatives. Each layer provides not just additional capacity but different types of resilience. The prepared position can maintain critical functions through multiple types of disruption. In food preparation, redundancy becomes your shield against system failure. Modern kitchen, camp stove, outdoor grill, solar oven, each method must be mastered, each fuel type understood. The wise strategist never depends on a single way to prepare sustenance. Communication systems demand particular attention to redundancy. Cell phones, landlines, radio equipment, physical signals, each layer must operate independently while integrating into your overall communication strategy. When one channel falls silent, others must carry your signals. Create redundancy in your information storage, critical documents, essential references, vital records. Each must exist in multiple forms: physical copies, digital backups, cloud storage, committed to memory. The wise warrior never loses vital intelligence to a single point of failure. Your medical preparations must embrace this principle completely. Multiple first aid kits distributed throughout your position, different types of supplies for similar injuries, various methods of treatment for common conditions. The prepared medic never depends on a single solution. Financial redundancy becomes crucial in uncertain times. Multiple accounts, different institutions, various forms of stored value. Like a general protecting his supply lines, you must ensure that no single financial failure can compromise your entire position. Transport options must follow this doctrine. Primary vehicle, backup transportation, manual mobility options. Each method must be maintained, fueled, and ready for deployment. The mobile warrior never depends on a single path of movement. Consider your tool redundancy. Critical equipment must have backups, and backups must have backups. But more importantly, develop multiple ways to accomplish essential tasks. The prepared craftsman never depends on a single tool for vital functions. Skills themselves must embrace redundancy. Each critical capability must be shared among multiple members of your group. The death of a single expert should not cripple your position's capabilities. Cross-training becomes not just education, but strategic necessity. Develop what I call nested redundancy, backups within backups. Your secondary systems should have their own backup capabilities. Your reserve supplies should have reserve storage methods. Like a fortress with multiple walls, each layer adds depth to your security. Storage locations must follow this principle. Never concentrate all similar supplies in one place. Distribute them strategically so that no single compromise can deplete your entire reserve of any critical resource. The wise quartermaster never keeps all provisions in a single storehouse. Some will say this level of redundancy is wasteful. They are the same ones who will find themselves helpless when their single point of failure becomes their point of collapse. The time to build backup systems is not when primary systems fail. Remember this teaching. Redundancy is not about having two of everything. It is about having multiple ways to meet each critical need. Like a general who can attack from multiple directions, your preparation must have multiple paths to success. Let redundancy become your standard of evaluation. For every system, every supply, every capability, ask, what is its backup? What is its alternative? What is its reserve? This is how resilience is built, how security is maintained, how preparation becomes unshakable. Your strategy must embrace redundancy not as excess, but as essential architecture. This is how systems survive shock, how positions withstand siege, how preparation becomes true readiness. For in the depth of your redundancy lies the height of your security. In implementing redundancy, consider also the principle of scalability. Each backup system should be capable of expanding its capacity or contracting its footprint as circumstances demand. Like a military force that can operate at various strengths, your redundant systems must adapt to changing conditions. Practice regularly with all your backup systems. Redundancy without familiarity becomes false security. The wise warrior knows every weapon in their arsenal. The prepared strategist understands every layer of their defense. This is how backup systems become reliable alternatives rather than untested theories. Flexibility is not weakness, it is concealed strength. In ancient battles, I observed that the rigid army shatters while the flexible one endures. Today we shall examine how this timeless principle applies to your modern preparation. For, in a world of constant change, adaptation becomes your greatest tactical advantage. Begin by understanding that adaptation is not mere reaction. The reactive mind operates from desperation. The adaptive mind operates from preparation. Like a general who has studied all terrains before choosing his ground, you must prepare for multiple scenarios while remaining ready to face the unexpected. Master first the art of modular thinking. Every system you create, every plan you develop, must be capable of being broken down and reassembled in new configurations. Your food storage must adapt to different locations. Your power systems must serve various needs. Your security measures must flex to changing threats. Practice what I call scenario fluidity, the ability to shift smoothly between different modes of operation. Can your kitchen transform from normal daily use to emergency cooking station? Can your living space convert from comfort to utility? Can your daily routine adapt to radical changes in circumstances? These transitions must become smooth, practiced, natural. Develop adaptive protocols for essential functions. Cooking without power, heating without fuel, cooling without electricity, water procurement without municipal systems. Each basic need must have multiple solutions, and you must be able to switch between them seamlessly. The wise warrior practices these transitions before necessity demands them. Your skills must embody this principle of adaptation. Learn multiple ways to accomplish each critical task. If one method becomes impossible, another must be ready. Like a warrior who can fight with any weapon, you must be able to achieve your objectives through various means. Create what I call adaptive stockpiles, supplies chosen and organized for maximum flexibility. Multi-purpose items take precedence over specialized ones. Tools that serve multiple functions outweigh single-purpose devices. The wise strategist values versatility over specificity. Train yourself in adaptive decision-making. Regular drills should include unexpected changes, sudden losses of resources, forced alterations of plans. Like military exercises that introduce surprise elements, your preparation must include regular challenges to your adaptive capacity. Master the art of resource reallocation. When circumstances change, how quickly can you redistribute your supplies? How efficiently can you reconfigure your systems? The prepared position can shift its strengths like a general redeploying his forces to meet new threats. Develop what I call tactical improvisation, the ability to create solutions from available resources. This is not mere creativity, but trained capability, born of deep understanding. Every item in your position must be viewed through the lens of multiple potential uses. Your communication systems must embody this flexibility. When normal channels fail, alternate methods must be immediately available. When preferred routes are blocked, backup paths must be ready. The adaptive communicator maintains contact through changing circumstances. Study the art of space reconfiguration. How quickly can you transform your living areas for different functions? How efficiently can you adapt your storage areas to new requirements? Every space must be capable of serving multiple purposes as conditions demand. Practice rapid adaptation in your daily life. When plans change, when systems fail, when expectations shatter, these become opportunities to strengthen your adaptive capabilities. The wise warrior welcomes small disruptions as training for larger challenges. Build flexibility into your alliances and networks. Different circumstances may require different types of cooperation, different forms of mutual aid. Your connections must be strong enough to endure change, yet flexible enough to adapt to new conditions. Some will say this emphasis on adaptation means having no firm plans at all. They misunderstand. Adaptation requires deeper planning, not less. The difference lies in planning for possibilities rather than fixing uncertainties. Remember this. Teaching, the strongest position is not the most rigid, but the most adaptable. Like a reed that bends in the storm while the mighty oak shatters, your preparation must combine strength with flexibility. Let adaptation become your constant practice. Let each change in circumstance be an opportunity to exercise your tactical flexibility. For in mastering the art of adaptation, you master the ability to thrive in a world of perpetual change. Your strategy must embrace change not as an enemy, but as an ally. This is how preparation becomes resilience, how planning becomes capability, how readiness becomes true security. The adaptive warrior does not merely survive change, they transform it into advantage. Consider also the principle of mental adaptation. Your mindset must be as flexible as your physical preparations. Fixed beliefs about how things should work become barriers to effective response when circumstances demand new approaches. The wise strategist maintains firm principles while remaining flexible in their application. Cultivate what I call adaptive awareness, the ability to recognize when change demands response. This is not hypervigilance, but rather a calm, measured assessment of shifting conditions. Like a general who reads the battlefield's evolving dynamics, you must read the signs that call for tactical adjustment. For in this balance of stability and flexibility lies the true art of strategic adaptation. Victory belongs to the one who watches unseen. In ancient warfare, I taught that knowledge of the enemy and terrain preceded all successful campaigns. Today we shall examine the art of strategic observation, how to gather, analyze, and act. Upon the intelligence that shapes your preparation, begin by understanding that observation is not mere watching. It is the systematic collection of information, the recognition of patterns, the interpretation of signs that others miss. Like a general's scouts who piece together enemy movements from subtle clues, you must learn to read the deeper meanings in everyday events. First, master the art of baseline observation. What is normal in your environment? What are the typical patterns of your local markets, your community's behavior, your area's supply chains? Understanding the baseline allows you to detect deviations. That signal coming change. The wise observer knows when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Develop what I call concentric observation circles. Layers of awareness that expand outward from your position, your immediate neighborhood, your local community, your regional conditions, your national situation. Each layer provides context. For the others, each stream of information confirms or challenges your broader assessment. Learn to recognize the early indicators of systemic stress. When do stores change their ordering patterns? When do suppliers adjust their delivery schedules? When do neighbors alter their shopping habits? These subtle shifts often precede more visible changes. The prepared observer sees the shadow before the object that casts it. Create systematic methods for gathering intelligence, regular observation routes, consistent monitoring points, reliable information sources. Like military reconnaissance patterns, your observation must be methodical rather than random. Random watching sees coincidence. Systematic observation reveals patterns. Master the art of subtle inquiry. Direct questions draw attention. Indirect observation yields deeper insight. Learn to gather information through natural conversation, through careful listening, through patient observation. The skilled intelligence gatherer appears to be merely engaging in normal activities. Establish what I call information triangulation, confirming observations through multiple sources. When local stores reduce stock, do regional warehouses show similar patterns? When prices rise in one category, do related categories show corresponding changes? Single data points can mislead. Multiple confirmations reveal truth. Develop expertise in supply chain observation. Every product you rely on follows a path from production to your position. Learn these paths. Watch for disruptions, delays, changes in quality or quantity. The wise strategist sees supply chain disturbances as early warning signals. Pay particular attention to the behavior of professionals in essential services. Medical workers, utility employees, transportation staff, these frontline observers often sense coming changes before they become obvious to others. Their casual comments carry strategic intelligence for those who know how to listen. Create a systematic method for recording observations. Memory fades. Documented patterns reveal deeper truths. Keep records of prices, availability, quality changes. Like a military intelligence officer maintaining reconnaissance logs, your observations must be recorded to be truly useful. Learn to distinguish between meaningful signals and distracting noise. Not every change signals danger. Not every stability promises safety. The skilled observer knows which patterns matter, which changes require response, which stability can be trusted. Practice what I call predictive observation, using current patterns to anticipate future developments. When one product becomes scarce, which related items will follow? When one price rises, what connected costs will increase? The strategic observer sees not just what is, but what will be. Build networks of trusted information sources. Different observers see different aspects of the same situation. Share observations carefully with proven allies. Pool intelligence thoughtfully with trusted partners. The wise general confirms his own observations through reliable sources. Maintain operational security in your intelligence gathering. Obvious observation draws unwanted attention. Visible note-taking raises questions. Learn to observe without being observed, to record without revealing, to know without showing knowledge. The most valuable intelligence gathering goes unnoticed. Some will say this level of observation is paranoid hypervigilance. They misunderstand. Strategic observation is not anxiety, but awareness, not fear, but preparation. The time to understand. Your environment is not when change becomes obvious to all. Remember this teaching. Information precedes understanding. Understanding precedes preparation. Preparation precedes security. Your observation becomes your strategic advantage only when it is systematic, recorded, and translated into action. Let your observation become as natural as breathing. Let each day be an opportunity to refine your awareness. For in mastering the art of strategic observation, you master the ability to act ahead of events rather than react to them. Watch the patterns of human behavior above all. People's actions reveal truths their words often hide. When communities begin to feel uncertainty, their behavior changes before their speech. The wise observer reads these human patterns as clearly as tactical maps. Your security rests not on strength alone, but on the foundation of superior awareness. This is how preparation becomes foresight, how observation becomes advantage, how knowledge becomes power. The observer who understands before others act holds the ultimate strategic position. The wise plant seeds of defense for those not yet born. This ancient wisdom speaks to your most crucial strategic task, ensuring that your knowledge, your preparations, your understanding survives beyond your own time. Today we shall examine the art of legacy planning, the transmission of strategic wisdom across generations. Begin by understanding that legacy planning is not merely about passing on supplies or equipment. It is the systematic transfer of knowledge, skills, and strategic thinking that transforms mere inheritance into lasting capability. Like a general training his officers, you must develop those who will carry forward your strategic vision. First, master the art of knowledge organization. Your strategic wisdom must be cataloged, documented, and structured for transmission. Create what I call knowledge hierarchies, systems of understanding that build from basic principles to advanced applications. The wise teacher knows that complex knowledge requires proper foundation. Develop clear protocols for essential skills. Each critical capability must be broken down into learnable components. Water purification, food preservation, security measures, equipment maintenance, all must be documented with precision that allows recreation of these skills without direct instruction. Create what I call tactical inheritance paths, planned. Sequences for introducing different aspects of preparation to the next generation. Not all knowledge can be transmitted at once. Not all skills can be mastered simultaneously. Like military training that progresses from basic to advanced techniques, your legacy plan must follow logical progression. Consider the psychology of knowledge transfer. Different ages require different approaches. Children learn through observation and guided practice. Adolescents learn through challenge and achievement. Adults learn through understanding principles and applications. Your teaching must adapt to each level of development. Build redundancy into your knowledge transfer. Critical information must be stored in multiple formats, taught to multiple recipients, preserved through various methods. Like a general ensuring his orders reach their destination through multiple channels, your wisdom must have multiple paths to the future. Establish regular training cycles, monthly skills practice, quarterly knowledge reviews, annual comprehensive drills. Create a rhythm of learning that becomes natural to your household. The wise strategist knows that irregular training produces irregular results. Document not just what to do, but why it must be done. Understanding the reasoning behind practices ensures they will be maintained and adapted appropriately as conditions change. The prepared heir knows not just the methods, but the principles that guide them. Create what I call living documents. Instructions and guides that are regularly updated, refined, and expanded through practical experience. Like military field manuals that evolve with new understanding, your documentation must grow with your knowledge. Implement practical testing of your knowledge transfer. Can your students actually perform the skills you've taught? Can they adapt these skills to new situations? Can they teach others effectively? The true measure of transmission is not in theory, but in capability. Develop methods for preserving digital knowledge securely. Multiple backups, various storage media, updated technology transfers. But remember, digital storage alone is insufficient. Critical knowledge must exist in physical form, in practiced skills, in understood principles. Consider the creation of skill specializations within your group. While all should know the basics, different individuals can master different advanced capabilities. This creates a web of complementary expertise that strengthens the whole while making knowledge preservation more manageable. Build what I call knowledge redundancy circles, overlapping groups of individuals who each possess critical skills and understanding. No single person should be the sole repository of vital information. The wise leader ensures that essential knowledge survives the loss of any individual. Practice regular knowledge audits. What skills are strong in your group? What areas need reinforcement? What knowledge is at risk of being lost? Like a general assessing his army's capabilities, you must regularly evaluate your group's collective knowledge base. Some will say this level of knowledge management is excessive. They fail to understand that lost knowledge can be more dangerous than lost supplies. The time to ensure continuation of critical skills is not when they are desperately needed. Remember, this teaching, knowledge unshared dies with the knower. Skills unpracticed fade into legend. Understanding untransmitted becomes mystery. Your strategic advantage must become your legacy, or it becomes nothing. Let your legacy planning be as thorough as your physical preparation. Let each day be an opportunity to strengthen the chain of knowledge that extends into the future. For in mastering the art of legacy planning, you master the ability to extend your strategic preparation beyond your own time. Your strategic wisdom must become a living heritage, not a dying memory. This is how preparation becomes tradition, how knowledge becomes culture, how strategic advantage becomes generational strength. The legacy that survives is the one that is deliberately planted, carefully tended, and systematically shared. Cultivate what I call wisdom lineages, chains of understanding that connect past experience to future application. Each generation must not only preserve, but enhance the knowledge passed to them, like a martial arts tradition that grows stronger through centuries of practice. Your strategic heritage must evolve while maintaining its essential principles. A general rehearses battle every morning in silence and simplicity. This ancient wisdom guides us to the heart of strategic living, the daily practices that transform preparation from occasional activity into constant readiness. Today we shall examine the rituals that build and maintain your strategic advantage. Begin each day with what I call the strategic morning assessment. Before the world intrudes with its demands, take time to center your mind and survey your position. Check your immediate environment, review your resources, confirm your readiness. Like a general inspecting his camp at dawn, this ritual grounds you in tactical awareness. Establish a systematic pattern for your morning inspection. Water supplies, food storage, security measures, communication systems. Each requires regular confirmation of status. The wise warrior knows their position before engaging with the day's challenges. Make this verification as natural as breathing. Create what I call readiness touchstones, specific points throughout your day where you pause to assess and adjust your strategic position. Mid-morning equipment check, noon communications verification, evening security confirmation. These moments of focused attention maintain your tactical awareness. Practice the art of strategic movement through your space. As you navigate your daily environment, maintain awareness of exit routes, defensive positions, resource locations. This is not paranoia, but practiced readiness. The prepared mind naturally registers tactical details while conducting normal activities. Develop daily maintenance rituals for your essential equipment. Like a soldier who cleans his weapon, whether it has been fired or not, you must regularly verify and maintain your crucial tools. Small adjustments prevent major failures. Regular attention prevents critical compromise. Implement what I call capability refreshment cycles, regular practice of essential skills woven into daily life. Water purification during normal use, fire starting while cooking, communication checks during routine contacts. Skills unused become skills lost. Skills practiced become instinct. Master the art of resource monitoring as a daily practice. Check. Consumption rates, verify storage conditions, rotate supplies as needed. Like a quartermaster who knows his inventory without consulting records, you must maintain intimate awareness of your strategic resources. Create rituals for information gathering and assessment. Morning news review, midday market check, evening community observation. Each provides data that, when collected regularly, reveals patterns invisible to occasional observation. The daily observer sees trends while others see only events. Establish what I call strategic reflection periods, dedicated times for reviewing and updating your plans. Weekly supply assessment, monthly capability review, quarterly strategy adjustment. These regular evaluations prevent tactical drift and strategic complacency. Practice daily operational security awareness. Who has entered your space? What information have you revealed? What patterns might others observe? Like a general protecting his camp's perimeter, you must maintain constant awareness of your security position. Build relationship maintenance into your daily routine. Regular contact with allies, scheduled check-ins with network members, consistent community engagement. Strategic relationships, like tactical skills, must be maintained through regular practice. Implement daily documentation practices. Record consumption rates. Note maintenance performed. Log observations made. Like a military officer maintaining his unit's readiness log, Your records become both history and planning tool. Create what I call scenario visualization sessions, regular mental rehearsal of various tactical situations. During daily activities, practice thinking through what-if scenarios. How would you respond to power loss while cooking? Water supply disruption while bathing? The prepared mind has rehearsed responses before they're needed. Develop daily skills-building practices. Each day should include some element of capability. Enhancement, whether practicing knots while watching evening news, studying Morse code during commutes, or testing plant identification during walks. Continuous small improvements build formidable capabilities. Master the art of inconspicuous preparation. Your daily rituals must appear natural to outside observers. Like a martial artist whose deadly skills look like simple movement, your strategic practices should blend seamlessly with normal activities. Some will say this level of daily attention is obsessive. They fail to understand that readiness is not an event, but a continuous state. The time to develop strategic habits is not during crisis, but during calm. Remember this teaching. Daily rituals are not about paranoia, but about preparation. Like a master craftsman who maintains his tools as part of his nature, you're strategic. Practices must become an integral part of your character. Let your daily practices flow naturally from strategic wisdom. Let each ritual serve a clear purpose in your preparation. For in mastering these daily arts, you master the ability to maintain constant readiness without constant stress. Your strategic position must be maintained through consistent attention, not sporadic effort. This is how preparation becomes character, how readiness becomes nature, how strategic thinking becomes instinct. The warrior who prevails is the one whose daily practices have already won the battle. Cultivate what I call mindful transitions. The practice of using movement between activities as opportunities for strategic assessment. As you enter or leave spaces, as you begin or end tasks, pause briefly to confirm your tactical awareness. Like a sentinel who naturally scans the horizon during routine patrol, let these moments of transition strengthen your strategic position. For in these small moments of daily practice lies the foundation of true preparedness. The strategic advantage belongs not to those who occasionally train, but to those who consistently maintain their readiness through deliberate daily ritual. Prepared not out of fear, but to banish fear. This final teaching encapsulates the highest wisdom of strategic readiness. Today, we shall unite all principles into one coherent understanding, for in this integration lies the supreme art of preparedness. Begin by understanding that true preparation transcends mere stockpiling or skill acquisition. It is the cultivation of a strategic mind, the development of tactical wisdom, the creation of a lifestyle that naturally generates security. Like a master general whose greatest victories come without battle, your highest achievement is the ability to face uncertainty with calm confidence. Consider first how all our teachings flow together. Awareness feeds intelligence gathering. Intelligence guides resource allocation. Resources enable capability development. Capabilities strengthen position. Position supports strategic depth. Each element reinforces the others, creating not a collection of preparations, but a seamless system of readiness. Master what I call the strategic trinity: mind, resources, and capabilities. Your mind must be sharp. Your resources must be ready. Your capabilities must be proven. Like a three-legged stool, stability requires all three elements working in harmony. Weakness in any one compromises the whole. Understand that preparation is not a destination, but a journey. Each skill mastered reveals new areas for improvement. Each system secured suggests new layers of redundancy. Each capability developed opens paths to greater expertise. The wise strategist knows that perfection is not attainable, but its pursuit drives constant enhancement. Create what I call strategic harmony, the balance between various aspects of preparation. Too much focus on any single element creates vulnerability. Too little attention to any aspect weakens the whole. Like a general balancing offense and defense, you must maintain equilibrium in your preparations. Develop the ability to shift seamlessly between different modes of readiness: normal daily life, heightened awareness, active response, full deployment. Each state must be available without mental strain. The prepared mind moves naturally between levels of readiness as circumstances demand. Remember that the highest form of preparation is preventive, the ability to recognize and avoid danger before it materializes, the capacity to strengthen position before threats emerge, the wisdom to build resilience before it is tested. Like a master strategist, your greatest victories should be those that no one else even recognizes as battles. Practice what I call strategic integration, the weaving of preparedness into every aspect of life. Your career should build useful skills. Your hobbies should enhance capabilities. Your social connections should strengthen your position. Every activity should serve multiple strategic purposes. Understand that true preparation is not about surviving the worst, but thriving through challenges. It is the ability to maintain dignity during hardship, to preserve principles under pressure, to remain human while being ready. The prepared individual faces crisis, not with desperate scrambling, but with composed execution of well-laid plans. Master the balance between individual excellence and community integration. The strongest position combines personal capability with network resilience. Like a wise commander who knows both individual combat and army deployment, you must be strong, alone while being stronger together. Consider the philosophical depth of preparation. It is not merely about having things or knowing skills. It is about becoming someone who can face uncertainty with confidence, meet challenges with capability, and maintain integrity under pressure. This transformation of character is the highest achievement of strategic preparation. Some will say this level of strategic integration is unnecessary. They fail to understand that true security comes not from isolated preparations, but from the development of a comprehensively prepared life. The time to integrate these principles is not during crisis, but through consistent practice. Remember this teaching: the supreme art of preparedness lies not in any single element, but in their harmonious combination. Like a master composer who creates symphony from individual notes, you must create security from individual preparations. Let your strategic journey be guided by wisdom, not fear. Let each step strengthen not just your position, but your character. For in mastering the supreme art of preparedness, you master not just survival, but the ability to thrive in an uncertain world. Your preparation must rise above mere tactical readiness to become strategic wisdom. This is how readiness becomes confidence, how preparation becomes strength, how strategic thinking becomes second nature. The highest victory is not won through conflict, but through the achievement of unshakable readiness. In these teachings lie the seeds of true security, not the false peace of ignorance, nor the false strength of rigid preparation, but the true power of strategic wisdom. Like ancient generals whose most profound insights have guided warriors for centuries, these principles offer a path to genuine preparedness. Now I call you to action. Take these teachings and make them your own. Transform them through practice into personal power. For in your dedication to strategic preparation, you join a lineage of those who choose readiness over reaction, wisdom over worry, preparation over panic. Subscribe to our channel now and join the legion of those who do not fear the chaos because they are already prepared for it. This is not merely an invitation to learn, it is a call to transform yourself into someone who faces uncertainty with strategic confidence and tactical capability.